Well, good morning to you. Tuesday, the 11th of June. It is 8:35. Time for Good Policies with Mike Barrett from Barrett Insurance Agency. How you doing, buddy?
I am well. How are you?
I am well. I'm dry.
High and dry. High and dry.
Well, it's pouring like crazy coming in this morning. Oh, my God.
Yeah. We really needed the rain, though.
Oh, man, didn't we? I mean, that dry spell, that 3 days.
Yeah, that 3 days of sun. And that's what they call it, right? Sun? Pretty sure. Somebody told me that's what
It's a big light up in the sky.
Back in my day, we used to have this thing called the sun.
That's right. Used to shine half the day.
No, not anymore.
Nope. Okay, enough of the morning humor. Until we've all got our coffee in us. All right. The insurance industry is pretty tough to understand for those of us that don't do it every day as a living like you and your crew does.
It can be tough for us to understand, and we do it every day.
Well, it is. You're always learning. It's like the automotive industry. Anything out there that you got to be good at, you're always learning at.
Exactly.
You know, this may be from out in left field here. One time I can recall that I ever used my automobile insurance, not mine, somebody else's. Okay.
Okay.
Somebody backed into my car out here in the parking lot.
Okay.
Didn't even know what they did. Well, they did it, but it put a tiny scratch in my bumper. And the car at the time was a $1,000 car. Okay. His insurance company, or their insurance company, said they were going to total it and give me $600. Less a deductible. So I'm down to like $300. And I said, so let me make sure I understand this, okay? Somebody hit my car left, okay?
Uh-huh.
You're totaling it, and you're going to leave me with this amount of money.
Which is less than my...
I cannot replace that car for that amount of money.
Yeah.
So you're going to leave me standing here in the parking lot because your client hit my car.
Right.
Okay. We went back and forth a little bit. And finally I said, look, I found this car on eBay. It is a year older than my car, and it is $1,000. We will settle with you for this amount.
Yep. Did they?
They did.
Good.
It took 2.5 weeks.
Which, believe it or not, in the negotiation phase of a claim, that's pretty quick.
It is.
Let's be honest. That's a pretty quick negotiation.
So where I'm going with this is I wasn't looking for a brand new car.
Right.
Okay. But it seems in my 53 years of walking on this planet that there are people out there in the event of a loss aren't looking to just get LKQ, like, kind, and quality. They want to go up the ladder.
Yeah.
Is this a commonality?
It is a commonality, and that's the number one complaint within the insurance industry. You're not within, not us complaining within, but with the insurance industry from consumers. That's probably the primary complaint is that the level of expectation of what a claim is going to be or how it's going to be handled is typically to the nth degree, not all the time, but pretty commonly, where it's above the expectation that even the contract lays out. So, if you have a brand new car, like, kind, and quality, it's also going to most likely be OEM, original manufacturer parts, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
OEM is pretty common the way that they're going to settle a loss for cars that are within the first 5 years. Some companies, by endorsement, you can have OEM for the lifetime of your car. All right. And that tends to be a very big complaint from people. Let's look at it this way. I've had claims where somebody has side struck a vehicle. Maybe one of our clients hit a car, damaged the door of that car, the driver's door. The insurance company says, well, here's a 12-year-old car. It wasn't that old, but it was probably 10 or 12. It might have been 12. Who knows? It was a very nice car. Don't get me wrong. It was a very well-kept car. And they were going to go to the salvage yard, and they found an exact door. Exact door.
Same color, same trim.
Everything, same interior. The only thing that needed was paint match, which is very common. But the interior was a match. The functionality of that door was a match. It looked identical to the door that was being replaced. The person didn't want that, was just absolutely refusing to have that be the way it was going to be handled. Now, why was the company going after salvage? Here's why. You gave a great example of how a scratch can total your car. The rest of your car is good. So it's like an organ donation, to be honest with you. I mean, there are going to be very good parts of these vehicles that are available to repair other vehicles. And companies are going to go, okay, well, we can go to this place and get the whole door with the innards, the components. It's literally
glass,
a plug and play.
Trim, everything.
Right, versus having to go and most likely have to go to the original manufacturer and try to get all the parts and then put it all together. You got labor to put it all together. It's going to be a lot more expensive. So, when it comes to indemnifying or making right or making you whole with a claim, it's going to be within a reasonable process. So that's why some of the expectations aren't met, and people tend to get upset. And I understand that because you have an expectation. You think this is how it's going to be handled. And, remember, with vehicles, you're almost always going to be handled on an actual cash value basis.
So in an instance like that, let's use the one you just explained, okay? They found the door, exact door. Everything was there, the speakers, the wires,
Oh,
the
yeah.
light switch, window switches, and all of that stuff, right? Joe, the customer, says, I don't want that door. I want a new door.
Yeah.
Is there a possibility of a negotiation process similar to like what I explained, where they say, all right, we can buy this door for $250, all right? But to replace it with a brand new door and all the parts, it's going to be $750. You pay the difference. Will they do that?
Possibly. And the reason I say that is because in instances where I've seen people wanting original manufactured parts, OEM versus aftermarket, company says, look, the way the contract reads, your car is 7 years old, you're going to get an aftermarket part. And the person's adamant saying they don't want it. They say, look, we're paying the price for the aftermarket. If you want OEM, you pay the difference. I mean, I've seen that happen before. So, truth be told, if you think about it, and I think about being a car guy, you could vouch for this process, whether I'm right or wrong. So tell me honestly whether you think I'm right or wrong.
Okay.
Aftermarket can often be as or better than OEM. Why? Because they have to engineer it to meet the specs of the OEM, which has to meet a grade. Am I correct?
Yes, all parts are safe. Whether we're talking about brake pads, I mean, because I've seen instances too where someone has had their tire swapped over, lug nuts weren't tightened, the tire comes off, slam on the brakes, the brake rotor hits the highway, flat spots it.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll use an example here, fake numbers, $150 for a brake rotor at General Motors or $45, down at the parts store.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all going to stomp your car. They're all going to last. They're all going to do that. But I think what you're mentioning is the important part is it works as it did before. That's
Right.
what the insurance company wants.
It's not like they're making a square fit into a round hole. I mean, they're going to look at the part and it's going to be the part made for your vehicle. And that's primarily with auto claims. That's the biggest process I get. And that's why I like to always talk about when we're talking about auto insurance. Look, if you're getting a brand new car, there are endorsements there's one with one company called VIP. There's another company called Replacement. A lot of companies that have it where for the first 5 years of ownership, if you purchase this additional coverage, they will get you a brand new vehicle. If the same model year if it's totaled. So it kind of helps with expectations there. So there's a lot to be thought there, but it's a conversation. Just like it's a conversation going through the process of obtaining, it's a conversation at the time of claim. If you feel the claim is not being handled properly, elevate it. Maybe you'll be speaking to a supervisor and find out that your expectation is beyond what's available. At least then the supervisor hopefully would have the ability to explain that to you in a thoughtful, concise way.
Okay, so that's in the automotive industry. We're getting close to being out of time here. Real quick, let's go to the home. Okay, you had a grease fire on the stove.
Yes,
the stove's no good because you shot it with water. The stove is 4 years old. Okay,
so this is what I like about homeowner policies, and there are instances where this is not the case, and this would be old time or something that was missed in the inception process of this policy. But of the policies that we sell, it's an endorsement that we put on all of them, replacement cost on contents, and the house is settled on replacement cost. So the thought being that if the stove falls under being part of the building, which if you tip the house upside down and it falls out, it's probably going to be considered personal property. But if it doesn't fall out like it's an attached oven, wall oven, it's going to be considered part of the house. You're looking at replacement cost on both, which is like kind and quality of the new kind, not going to a salvage yard. They're going, I always tell people, if you have a 6-foot couch and you have a fire, I don't care if it came from a rummage sale or from Montclair.
You get a 6-foot
The claims
couch.
company's not going after either of them. They're sending you to the store to get a new one. So just don't get better, but equal new.
Right, and that's what the expectations should be.
Yeah.
So see, I mean, we could go off on 100 different tangents here and still have 100 more tangents to go on. But this is why we have the talk. We bring up little things, and then people call their agent.
Yeah.
And they can call you.
That's really the point here, is just to have a conversation with your agent, with your insurance company. I'll tell you, if you go to your friend and say, hey, if they're not an insurance agent, they're going to give you their take on it, which may or may not jive. Well, my friend says having a pit bull is fine. Is your friend an insurance agent representing this company? No.
Exactly.
Okay. So anyway, you can give us a call. Barrett Insurance. We're on Portland Street in St. Johnsbury, 748-5224. Visit us online, thebarrettagency.com. Google, Facebook, and YouTube's All Barrett Insurance Agency. We're going really long, so a real quick plug. Relay for Life of Caledonia County is this weekend, noon to midnight at St. Johnsbury Academy. Should be a fantastic event. If you have never gone, just show up.
And you can help volunteer too. You can set up luminaries, you can set up tables and everything. So you don't need, and that is helping.
It is. And 15th year for the event. So it's real tremendous. We're really excited about it.
All right. Relay for Life this weekend. Barrett Insurance Agency, Portland Street in St. Johnsbury. Music from